To whom it may concern, this world was built. Maybe for us, maybe not, but I've been taught that I have a right as well as anyone, so instead of learning how to crawl, I hit the ground and run. See, I don't want to live as a blip in the universe's EKG. I want to make such an impact that its heart skips a beat. I want the universe to dream of me and send me late-night texts and see whether or not it should see if I want to have sex or maybe follow the 300 years rule because it doesn't want to seem eager. How conceited am I to try to go fuck the ether? I guess I just don't believe in the impossible. It's impossible for me to think that anything's just out of reach. Teach me that I'm only human, then tell me that I can do anything, everything's possible. The river Styx is crossable. I can stand at the gate of Olympus at the doorstep of Zeus. I can call down to the underworld and set Cerberus loose. Call me Narcissus, but I think I'm amazing. I'll bring it more hell than Hades is raising. I'm Sisyphus, pushing that damn rock to the top, and as soon as I get there, my stones tend to drop, like the ones that those listening to this are thinking of throwing, because this guy's way too damn cocky, his pouts is showing. That's Greek for penis, by the way. Please try to keep up. We got no Athena's listening, apparently. Oh my god, someone shut him up. I'm just messing around because I like to write. And if I can get a few Greek references in my sentences, then maybe I'll appear a little more bright. However, if you'll amuse me, if you got the one you're really on the ball, then I'll get to your question as to is there a point to this at all? I am obsessed with writing. Obsessed is a pretty strong word, which is why I'm a bit perturbed that it applies to me. I find myself being unable to sleep until I finish a piece, and I'll go from movie and video game references to ancient Greece. I'll call out Zeus and entire religions just to make an anecdote seem like a good decision, and I can only hope that someone who empathizes has listened. To any one of us who's never known what it's like to face the fire and burn, to put our thoughts on paper and hone the words into a microphone, and try to atone to make your work seem a little less insane, as if the human race doesn't know a thing or two about pain, but pain is where my creativity can begin, and where some can't get it out, I can't seem to keep it in. This battle of nitwits has raged on since I was born, and I'm not fighting for nations, I'm fighting for the mourning ones, and the scorn from the scorning ones, and the cry of the adorning ones, those of us who can only articulate in a slam, and outside of this, I'm as articulate as Sam I am. See, I'll forget that we are daughters and sons, so I know hate, but I know love, and I'll be light from above as the sun to the moon, as the branch to the dove. I've never backed down from a fight. I've been fighting with myself my whole life, so what the hell does someone else think they can do? Float like a butterfly, sting like imagery. My mind's as cracked as the bell that once symbolized liberty. Fight or flight to me is right or die, and I never could, so in spite of the ground, I picked myself up, and instead of bandages, paper is what I found, and I wrapped it around my head so maybe my mind could become more like it, able to be written on and malleable, and just as fragile as fallible. My wounds became noble, my thoughts became valuable. When my self-esteem was constantly beaten and shoved, my mother always reminded me, son, you are loved, and that was when I first learned the power of words, not the imitation of thought from the shells of the absurd. Those who called me Four Eyes and Freak, they thought they were spitting on the weak, but that was water to make me strong, and the night is darkest just before the dawn, but I who write am always on like a light switch that was thrown into a shallow ditch and surrounded by others who were dejected and thought they must be infected because they're constantly rejected. No, hear me! Others like me are the fighters of this world's arena. They want us to be gladiatorial, well, we're glad they haven't seen us. They are the Neros and we are the fire. They may get weak, but we will not tire, because we've kept our mouths shut for too long, and the floodgates are open. Once more onto the breach till their defenses are broken. We're armed with samurai swords and they've barely got bokens. They're lost in the Arctic and the wolves have awoken. I sometimes have days where I feel like I'm unlike all the others. I feel like Abel to Cain, tell me where is your brother? But instead of improvised weapons, it's words I'm devising, and you'll know that we won when the red sun is rising. As soon as the red sun comes up, my blood begins to boil, because the ink in my pen begins to pour out like oil fields, dreams that are lost among the wheat, and the weak are buried somewhere underneath my feet, and when I find myself being challenged, I'm often begging for more. Raise your mind's eye high, boys, we're going to war. But I use puns instead of guns, and I use lists instead of fists. You can take the dog out of the fight, but the dog's still pretty fucking pissed. I feel like a sentient, wrenching, vengeant one among the wasteland into the great ways to graze those who are dead and gone, and their affections making no sense, just like babble they babble on. But I try to make sense and be a demon among paragons. But I don't care about flow or meter, this isn't follow the leader, it's congratulations, you're the teacher, and you have 2 minutes to convince the glints and puddled masses that your fingerprints are more than identification passes, and that everything you touch is imprinted with you, and that for us there really is no try, just do, and that for your words hold some semblance of truth instead of the ravings of a madman, which for some reason is synonymous with a bad man. And I often find that the ones who are crazy are really the sanest and everyone else is lazy, and when I really get rolling it turns away from a slow jam, and I can start to see how I feel like I'm just surrounded by programs. I feel like I'm Tron because I fight for the users with a 1-2 punch. I'm a Bronx-born bruiser. If you're solar flares, then I'm the greenhouse effect. It's too hot for you, want to leave, too bad you ain't going just yet. Good luck taking me down, cause I'm pretty resilient. In a world of mediocrity, I dare to be brilliant, cause I'm born from the stars, from a supernova's corpse, and the atoms that make me up are what make up the horsehead nebula, and remorse isn't for the not yet dead embers that glow red in ya, and when I'm ready to write my sight off, I remember my doubt, because when I'm returned to the ground, that means one more star is burnt out, and I remember there's still stars, the sky hasn't gone pitch black, and if I'm staring at where from, that means a part of me is staring back, cause I've felt what it's like to keep it in, and it drives me insane. I'd rather put I write for the writers in my own blood on a window pane. I'd rather fall on my feet than live on my knees. I'm pleased to live. I'm not lived to please. We won't be stuck in the realm of the unwelcome again. Praise be, this is church to me. Can I get an amen? And instead of money for tithe, I put in a line. And I don't just give 10%, I give 109. And the sermons are all just poetry. And each seed we plant in our community is a tree of life that grows societal immunity to destroy the weeds that tell us that we might be evil. We eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and real. You follow your script and that's your lock on the door. But don't you think that I might have all just heard it before? You better hope to whatever you believe that you don't forget a line. Because as soon as I see your head spin, I'll rip out your spine. And when the dust settles and they're straining to see who's alive, they'll see nothing but shadows and hear voices and cries. Because I'd sooner destroy myself than ever be silenced, and I'll be damned if I ever keep a quiet defiance. So let my pulse be the war drums, and my voice break into the clear. To whom it may concern, look up. We're still here.